Hello everyone, hope you can hear me okay. I'm just waiting for the lovely Helen to hit the link. And I'll just say some hellos. I hope you all can hear me okay. There's the lovely Killer and the Grim Truther. Welcome. I've actually got a video, your latest video to download, to play actually. I downloaded it earlier and I want to play it. I hope that's okay. And who else have we? We have John, of course. And there's Helen. Helen, you get hitting that link. And Crime Scene Cleaner. Sharon. Sagacious. I'm just going through. Dave. Hello, Dave. We keep running into each other in different chats around the tubes. Hope everybody's well. Helen, did you find the link? Well, tonight we have the lovely Helen, as I said. Helen is very well known in the community that Dorothy, myself, Sagacious, and quite a few, and Giggler, of course, was part of for the last 3.5 years. Oh, hold on one moment. Which we all know was the Watts community, I suppose. But there is, oh, there she is. I'll just hit at her now. Hello, Helen. Can you hear me? Hello, welcome to my wee channel. It's
Thank
great.
You. Good to be here.
I was just trying to explain there what community that we came from.
Yeah.
I don't really like calling it the Watts community. What community?
See, my interest started in the Watts, but the reason I started my channel was because I was silenced on Armchair Detective. So that was the main reason I started. I just wanted to get my point across.
Yes.
So
Hello, Eternal really and Tracy. Yeah. Do we call ourselves the Truthers? No, not really. It's kind of like the Watts. I don't really like using the Watts community either, because there's...
Yeah, I suppose a truther was as near as I got to a category. Because I was good friends with them and everything. Well, still am with quite a few of them.
Yeah, so. Yeah. And I've actually got one of Truth Justice videos to play tonight later on.
Oh, I love Truth Justice.
She's brilliant, and she has told me I can play any videos that I've got or that she has. I also would just say hello to a few people. Eternal Flame, good to see you. Tara M. Sharon, yep, the Truth community. Yeah, I think that's probably what we are. Yeah, was the Truth community. Yeah. There's Dorothy. Hello, Dorothy. Dorothy also came from the Truth community. Yeah. And it all came from, well, I actually first came across it. It was actually the day, it was on a Facebook true crime group that CW was starting on the porch. And I had never been on YouTube before.
I think that's the first video I watched, his interview on the porch.
Yep, Denver 7.
Yeah.
And I had never been on YouTube, Helen. Hadn't a clue.
No.
And I hit the link, bopped over to YouTube, and well, the rest is history. Hadn't a clue. Went in with my real name, like you, You've kept your real
Me
name.
too. Yeah, because I didn't know you wasn't meant to.
Well, I didn't either.
Because I'd never commented on a channel before or anything like that. So I'd had a look at odd things, but nothing really, So that was like the time I got into YouTube. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And did you, at that time, did you join groups, or did you had your channel just like a channel like everyone has?
Yeah, I mean,
What?
I subscribed to AD first, because I wanted to know more about this family in Colorado. It just, because of the Thrive footage, because of the porch footage, and because of the interview footage, it felt like you were like almost there, if you know what I mean. You felt like you knew these people, and so that made me want to just find out everything, because I just found it so strange. It's like we had a window into their lives because there was so much footage of everything,
Yeah.
before the murder, after the murder, before the charges, after the charges, So I just wanted to find out more and more. So that's why I ended up stumbling across Armchair Detective.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I thought he was all right, because he was showing the videos, he was talking about the videos. And at first I didn't spot anything wrong, because I was learning.
Yeah.
It was a new case to me, but then I started to see that it was a bit rude to people. And when the Ruseks came into chat, I was watching that, and I was confused because there were people saying it's not really them. And see, I didn't know what alts and clones and all that were
No,
then.
neither did I. I know.
No, there's a
We
lot of
learned.
new.
Yeah, we learned.
Yeah. And then when Frank actually did his thing, where he was like tears in his eyes, pleading to be left alone, that's when I thought, this ain't right, because he's still carrying on, and he's been asked, and first he said he were going to give up with the Watts case. He said, out of respect, I'm going to give up. And it must have lasted, I don't know, a couple of weeks.
I think
But
it
even
did.
though he said he'd given up, and he was talking about other cases, he kept comparing the other cases with the Watts case, and so he never really shut up about it at all, But then he turned it into a free speech issue, and so I did question him on that on a live, and he got offhand with me then, and then I questioned him on something else. I forgot. Oh yeah, I tried to, on another live, I tried to like make him see, because I said that, I've lost a son, and I can't imagine what it'd be like to lose that many members of your family,
No, I know.
all to murder. I mean, it's horrific, So I tried to say about that, but he just like dismissed my comment, and how he gets like a bit off with you if you don't, if you're not
Just a
like
wee bit.
agreeing with him.
Just a wee bit.
So I ended up getting blocked. And then I thought, well, it's not fair. You're still doing it, and you're not listening to me. So that's when I thought, I'm going to make a video. And I was in a Facebook group as well. I can't remember what it was called now, but quite a lot of the truth channels were in the Facebook group.
Right.
Because I think it was after I made, was it? No, it was before I made my first video that I was in there, and they were like enlightening me about AD, because I didn't really know him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, so then I thought, I'm going to make a video.
I remember, and it was the Bed Detective.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I loved it, Helen.
I thought,
It was, yeah, but it was good. You know, it was like you were never offensive. You just debunked.
no, I tried to do it in a more, like poke foot, make it in a funny way rather than you must do this sort
Yeah.
of way, trying to make him see how daft he was sounding, didn't really work, but
No, it didn't. I mean, I got banned, I think, or blocked very, very shortly. I was never really an avid watcher. I did watch him, a few times when he used to be at the back of a restaurant, I believe.
yeah, I think that was. Oh yeah, well, sometimes he went for a curry, sometimes it was his son's pub, weren't it?
Yes, yes. And I just actually thought, look, I'm going to be honest. I thought he was like a daughter and old boy just chatting, shooting the
Yeah,
breeze. And he was at the start. I mean, I
yeah,
have to say, I can understand why people got, really wanted to sub to him. And then when the Discovery came out,
yeah,
that's when I seen a big, big change.
yeah, yeah, yeah. When he started, and his sources weren't what they were made out to be.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it all
yeah,
got a bit wrong, Like, it wasn't investigating, it was just gossiping, but not just gossiping, but embellishing. And I mean, you can do that about ordinary day-to-day things quite harmlessly to your mates or something, but not when there's a grieving family
yeah,
and you're hurting them by doing it.
yeah.
And
And it just went too far. It really, really did.
the hate for NK and the hate,
Oh, my
well, the
goodness.
hate. Oh, it's horrible. It's really horrible.
Can
And
any...
have you seen what Dave's saying now?
Oh,
They're seeking.
I actually have... I think I've watched him very briefly. And I think one of the times I did watch it, I just had to jump out. Because I believe he called Sandra a really
Yeah.
nasty, dirty word.
Well, he's saying she's involved in a failed kidnap plot.
Oh, no. Oh, come on now.
That's what he's saying now.
Oh,
And I
right.
just think, what? They're parents who have lost their grandchildren and daughter, and you're coming out with that kind of rubbish.
Oh, my God.
It's so annoying. Jenny's birthday shopping on Amazon.
Oh, I'll tell you, he's had some leftover pizza and is shopping just right. His birthday's on Monday. Can everybody put a 1 if you are blocked in chat? Put a 1 if you're blocked from AD's channel.
I bet there's a lot of ones.
I wonder how many we'll get.
I don't remember Leaping Lizard. I remember Lex Callier, because that was really upsetting when he destroyed her channel. And she was never rude. She was just factual.
Oh, wow. Violet, the Grim Truther, Giggler, Tracy, Eternal Flame, Julie DJ.
Tracy's been banned a few times, I think. Oh, Cramsey Cleaner never watched AD.
Lucky girl, yep. And Helen's a 1. I'm a 1. Oh, Dorothy C is blocked, but this is a newer account.
Oh.
But she never went in there. Right, okay. But you're blocked, Dorothy. You got a big fat 1 beside your name. Yeah, definitely. Now, I am actually in his Facebook group.
Oh, I got kicked out.
Well, I never commented. But there's really not much going on. And I actually don't remember. Oh, and Sagacious, you definitely are blocked. Oh, Tracy, you've different profiles. Oh, imagine Alts.
Oh, is that why you had more
Oh.
than one? A one
I
for
was
each
told,
profile.
I was actually told by someone, and it was from the truth community. And at the start, I wasn't sure whether to believe them or not. That they had 50 alts. And then I found out that was true. They did.
Oh my goodness. Do they use them for good or evil?
Probably, I don't think it was evil. Oh no, it's not evil. But it was, well, mischief probably. Yes, that's it. Mischievous. I mean, that's all right. I mean, a bit of mischief, but nothing too evil. So,
see, I like folk to know it's me that said it.
Well, so do I. I come in, I'm blocked, that's it. I've got 2 accounts. People know who my 2 accounts are. And, well, then I'm just not welcome. I'll just have to step back.
Yeah. Shall
It's
I tell you something, though?
Right.
I might be letting something out of the bag here. I'm not sure.
Right.
But I am still, you know how you a friend on Facebook? I'm still a friend on Facebook with AG. Obviously, I've never, but I've just left it open because I thought you never know. You know, I might need it at some point. You never know.
Well, you never know.
No, I know I've said that. He'll probably put me on that.
Giggler, you do know my 2 accounts. I had, right, apart from this one, Endure, I think
number 4.
Juror number 4, but I took the 4 off because somebody came in with something very, very similar to mine. I think, is it the alternative juror?
Oh.
I think maybe not. I actually can't remember.
You're not hiding that way, are you? Because you're still...
Oh, no, but I mean, they know it's me.
Yeah.
If I had to use it. And I haven't had to use it because I haven't been blocked. Well, I've been blocked places. Of course I've been blocked places. But I haven't went back and tried to use my other account, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh, and Braun Moxley. We can't forget Braun. We all liked Braun, didn't we?
He's back now, isn't he?
I think he did dip his toe in. Oh, Grim Truther, Mary Marlowe. I never watched Mary apart from the last bit.
I only saw her near the end of her time. When
Hello, Kenny.
All got a bit...
yeah. But you know what actually had happened? What had happened there? Mary had given her mods, her sign-in details.
Oh.
So they had control, obviously, of her YouTube and her email. And she obviously maybe forgot that. And then she thought that there was people... Well, she actually blamed AD, let's be honest, that he had got into her computer. But what it was, I think it was her mods.
Right. And was he like messing with her head or just...
Yeah, it was. It was.
Oh, that's... Oh, why?
You know, I felt bad for her. She is back.
Yeah.
But she doesn't do anything mods or anything like that there. She's kept herself just clean that way. And I don't blame her. I actually don't blame her.
No.
I mean, there's been a lot of casualties over the last 3.5 years. You know, there's been some good and some not so good channels that have, you know, moved on. But you don't really do bed detective anymore.
Well, when it got that he was making jabs at the family, and when the hatred for NK got too strong, I thought, I can't parody that. It's too serious, you know.
Yeah.
It just got too serious. I didn't feel, because first he was just daft, and the theories were silly. But see, I can't go into a parody and start calling NK the names that he calls her, or
No.
saying things about Frankie, pretending to be him. That wouldn't be funny, and I wouldn't be comfortable at all. So it just got too serious. So, and I know people probably preferred it, that it were more comedy. But I just,
But it did
I
take
mean,
a
I've
dark
done a
turn.
couple.
Yeah, it did take a dark
Yeah,
turn. Let's be honest.
yeah, yeah.
It certainly went from a doddery old man, and not only AD. Let's be quite honest here. There's been a lot more that have actually, I think, have been worse. And I'm going to be quite honest here. And one of them is Dingo. Dingo. I mean, to come out.
Sorry.
Dingo. Oh, Dingo.
Dave.
Well, we call him Dingo.
Yeah.
And for him to come up with that, Sandra.
He's got worse.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Why? Money? Is it just money?
Well, he realises that the nasty side gets the audiences, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Who was giving me stick, Dave or AD? I know AD did.
Yeah.
Don't think he likes me very much. But
no, I am going to be honest and say this, that there is, right, okay, AD is AD, okay?
Yeah.
But there is a line that he doesn't cross. I think we have to say that. Some people just don't have that line.
No.
And Dingo
I got
is
annoyed.
one of them.
I know it did have quite a few goes at me, did AD. And what
just a few.
Yeah. What got me really annoyed, I mean, stuff like that don't bother me, but when he started saying about mentally ill, I've got a really big thing about the stigma associated with mental illness, when 1 in 4 hospital admissions are for a mental health problem, and nearly everyone's gone through a bout of depression or anxiety, even if it was just a short one. And I really hate the stigma that he tried to attach, that saying, they're all mentally ill.
That's
old
right.
People, and
Well, I mean,
so
we are middle-aged.
And I have got a mental illness.
Well, I think,
but I'm open about it because I want to stop the stigma. So when people start weaponizing it, when I'm being open about, I mean, I've been on antidepressants for the vast majority of my life. I started at 17. I've tried to come off a few times, but it doesn't last very long, and I crash. And I now know that I have to be on medication for life. It's not just circumstances, it's some kind of chemical thing that is part of me. And I've accepted it, and I'm happy to talk about it. I don't mind anybody knowing about that. But I hate it when it's weaponized against me or against anybody.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. I mean, let's be honest, I think a lot of people that's in this chat has maybe, I suffer from anxiety, right?
Yeah.
I went and sought out, cognitive behavior therapy. At the
Yeah.
start, I was shoo. I thought
Yeah.
this is absolute nonsense. And my doctor said, look, just give it a try. Give it a try.
Yeah.
And it came on. The anxiety, I think, was just a build-up of everything. Work,
Yeah.
home life, juggling this, juggling that.
Yeah.
And I let it get into me. And at that time, I wanted to hide it. That I was this super mum. That I didn't
Yeah.
need to. Oh, I've got anxious. And it started off very small. And I remember one day in the supermarket, just
Yeah.
standing in the supermarket, and it was a basket of food, and I just felt I couldn't breathe and that I had to get out.
I've done that. Yeah. Just
And
leave your shopping and
I
go.
set the basket down, and
Yeah.
I ran out the door.
Yeah. I didn't run, but I don't do running. But
Well, you have to think this is 20 years ago. I
yeah.
could run. And I remember thinking, oh, and that happened a few times. Maybe
Yeah.
when you came to a queue that I thought,
Yeah.
But it didn't happen all the time, but it did happen. And
Yeah.
I said, right, I'm going to have to go and see about this. And that was when the CBD, cognitive behaviour, no,
Yeah.
CBT, not CBD.
CBT. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other stuff, isn't it?
CBT is that oil, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Now, we didn't have that then, or I probably would have. Yeah. And I find it brilliant.
Yeah.
And that's right, Sagacious. We talked about this. She left a full trolley in Morrison's.
Yeah.
Panic attacks. And it does feel like, Sharon, it does feel like a heart attack. And it's so scary.
Yes. I didn't realise
Yeah.
I was having panic attacks.
Yeah. You think you're
Um,
dying. You think you're a freak. You don't know
I,
what's happening.
because I get them when I go out my flat, and even when I haven't got far to walk, and I thought I was just really, really unfit, which I am
Mhm.
anyway. But I thought they were unfit symptoms because I'd get like out of breath and sweating and just feeling like I was going to die.
Yeah.
You know, that
Mhm.
kind of
Mhm.
feeling. But then I realised it happens when I was on my own. But if my daughters were with me, it didn't
You're okay.
happen. Even
Because
though,
they were your
yeah,
security blanket.
yeah, and
Mhm.
that made me realise actually it's like it's nothing to do with actually going out and walking. It's to do with being on my own and walking. So it's more psychological. But I actually thought they were physical symptoms, you know, like proper. I just thought I was just really unfit.
No, well, I actually thought, what is happening? And my hands would shake. That
Oh,
I couldn't even
yeah.
get my purse out of my bag. And
My
my
memory
fear,
goes. My memory goes. I can't.
everything goes with me.
I
And
can't
I'm
like
just like,
remember. You know, like
yeah,
I've given my wrong address when
I know.
somebody's asked for my address. I've given totally
Yeah,
the wrong address, and I know that it's the wrong address when I've said it, but I don't know how it's the wrong address. I can't get my right address out of my head.
yeah.
And it's panicking. It's just pure panic.
It is pure panic. And
Yeah.
it can come over you without, just
Mm.
suddenly.
Yeah.
I know. And then I done it by small stages. And do you know something? It worked for me. It really did work.
Yeah. Do you know
Um,
they've never suggested it to me?
it is an ongoing thing. And, at the start, I know this sounds silly. It's like baby steps, learning to walk, right?
Yeah.
Go into a shop, but you're not particularly wanting anything in this shop, right? But you're going to
Yeah.
just go in because you sometimes get a barrier put up that you don't want to go anywhere
Yes.
in case this
That's how I
happens.
am now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you avoid situations and you avoid busy places,
Yeah.
unless you know that there's an exit route.
Mhm.
I was terrified of being affronted, that I would start shaking and collapse onto the ground and feel that you were going to just faint.
Yeah.
So you would pick up, say, a Mars bar, and you would start to go up to the till. And if you started feeling that, you put the Mars bar down. There was no pressure to buy the Mars bar, and you would walk out of the shop.
Yeah.
Okay? That's step one. And it goes on like this here. And there's a process in your brain, by the way, that you're talking yourself through this.
Yeah.
It's not like an overnight fix.
No.
But it works. It is, psychological, and it works.
The more small successes you have.
Oh my goodness.
The
So
more
now,
confidence.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And again, I thought that was just a load of poo-poo and it wouldn't work. And I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
And that's why I think people should be upfront. I'm glad I can now come out and say, I've got anxiety. I don't hide it. It's not anything to be ashamed of.
Yeah. I always tell people I can't answer the phone unless I've got, I mean, even my mum knows I hate. I'm okay with texting. I mean, I can talk fine on here. I can have a conversation.
Yes.
And I don't know what the difference is. But if the phone rings, straight away it's like, oh, I can't answer it. I can't answer it. I can't answer it. You know, my husband, he used to have this code that he would do 2 rings, then stop, then phone. Then I knew it was safe to answer.
Yeah.
But I just tell people now, I can't do phones.
No.
Now and again, I will make a phone call, but it's rare, and I've got to sort of force myself and push myself. You know.
You, I hope you don't mind me saying, you're a retired teacher?
A teaching assistant.
Okay.
Wasn't a full teacher.
Okay. No, but you're teaching assistant. And do you feel comfortable telling us your story about the reasons that you feel that you've got this anxiety? Or how do you feel that this came on? How long have you had it?
Oh, most of my life.
Okay.
I think some of it's genetic. Because there is mental illness in my family. But the way we talk about things has changed, hasn't it? So when my mum took ill health retirement, it was called stress. And my dad had schizophrenia, so that was another.
Yes, I knew that.
And
he died when you were young, you and your daughter, or you and your sister?
Yeah, he committed suicide when I was young.
I'm sorry to hear that, Helen.
It was a long time ago. So
it was, yeah.
But he did it in the most horrible way, because he poured petrol on himself and set fire to himself. And that shows how ill he was, really.
Oh my goodness. He had no medication, no?
Schizophrenia, they've come on leaps and bounds since them days. In those days, I think it took a long while to get diagnosed. He was hospitalised, and he did have electric shock therapy, where they give you a few shocks, and it's meant to sort of calm you down. But you know, he killed himself not long after he was released from hospital. But he was violent as well to my mum, sexually and physically.
Yeah.
But I think that was part of his symptoms as well. And he drank a lot, which I think was self-medicating.
Yeah.
And then my mum, it wasn't long after that before my mum remarried to a man whose wife had drowned in the bath.
Oh, wow.
I know. It's like my mum went to college with his wife, and she had really, really bad postnatal depression, and she was on medication, and it was an open verdict. They didn't know whether it was intentional or whether the medication made her too sleepy in the bath, you know. So she died. So they got together then, and he had 2 boys. But he wasn't stepdad material. He liked his boys, but he didn't like me and my sister.
Yeah.
And my self-confidence and self-esteem I didn't have any. You know, when I was at school, I was so shy. I wouldn't speak to anybody, or you know, I was just so shy, and I didn't realise what depression was. My mum took me to the doctor at 17, but I just thought I was a sad person. And it was normal to me. I just felt sad, and I used to do things like when I was a kid, you know, like I had a torch and I used to flash SOS out my bedroom window, and I don't know who I was flashing it at, just strange things like that, because I just felt sad. And then I pretended to run away once, but I just took some bread and butter and went under my bed, and I was hoping that they'd miss me, but they didn't, and I ended up coming out because I had to get toilet. And so it just and self-esteem makes you not make the best choices.
Yeah.
You know, with fellas and things like that, because I never thought I would be loved by anyone. I never thought I'd get married in a million years. So I could never believe that relationships would last.
Yeah.
Helen Chaffer, please check your messenger.
Hello, arm hair defective. Good to see you.
Right, just checking my messenger.
Okay. Hope she's not going to tell us off.
Do you want me to say it out loud, or I don't know? I don't know what to do.
Can you comment in private chat?
Oh, I can do that, yeah. But then you'll have the same dilemma that I have. But
okay, but do it, and then I'll.
I haven't been keeping an eye on chat. I'm sorry if I've ignored anything that was at me.
Everybody's just chatting between themselves and going with the flow, listening to us have a gossip and a natter.
No, I'm just typing away.
You typing.
There we go.
Okay, that's fine. And
if anybody's thinking it's something top
secret, you're right. You're right.
It's nothing, you know, like top secret or anything. It's just being sensible about things.
And you're right, Julie. So I will go on up here and just do what I have to. And let's see.
Oh, Julie just said she will tell me off when she sees what I wrote. I think Julie might know what we're on about.
Yeah. And you then had your family.
Yeah.
Obviously you had five children.
Yeah, I've got I've had 5 altogether. I got pregnant unexpectedly. With my first child, but actually I think that saved my life, to be honest, because having my first child, I was totally unprepared. I was 20, so I wasn't that young.
I was young. That was young.
I was totally unprepared. I'll tell you a story that sounds really bad, but see, I had no idea how bad labor would be. I knew you were meant to have pains, and I'd
Mhm.
seen people on telly with sweat dripping off them, you know. But labour was bad, and I had to have forceps, and it lasted forever. And then and then and one of the most embarrassing things is the sponge bath they give you. And my mum was there, and I'm thinking, I don't let my mum see me with no clothes on, you know. And it's like things like that. And then they said, "Do you want to hold him?" And I just went, "No." And I think I worried them. I think they thought, "Oh dear," you know, because that's like not what you're meant to say, is it? When you've just had a baby, you're meant to be like really excited and can't wait to grab hold of him. But I was just so tired. I just said no, and but then obviously, you know, I were fine afterwards. It was just, I think I were in shock or something, and but he actually taught me about love. You know, proper love. I didn't know what love were till I had my son. And, you know, it was
Yeah.
just love. And I do think he saved me life, because I was just drifting, and, you know, there was nothing. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I didn't know anything, you know. I just knew I weren't happy. That's, you know, I mean, I was at sixth form, and I passed my A levels.
Mhm.
Then I was meant to go to uni, but I was so shy. I weren't sure how you filled the forms in or what forms you had to fill in, and I
Yeah.
was too shy to ask anybody. So I never went to uni. You know, and
Oh.
it's just that's how I was, just drifting through and not coping. And I still don't cope very well with real life, you know, paying bills and doing sensible things. um I, I, I always say, you know, I can do book learning,
Yeah.
I could pass exams, but I can't do everyday life. It's just too much. You know.
I think you do pretty well. I mean, you can come up on camera, chat, hold an audience, and you seem very comfortable doing it. I mean, that is a massive achievement, Helen. It really, really is.
I,
You know,
I, I
a
think
lot of people
now,
can't do that. A lot of people couldn't do that.
I think it's because I think life's taught me just not to take it too serious. Just well, the important things obviously you take serious, but you know, things like pride and embarrassment,
Yeah.
and I'm not shy that way anymore. Not online anyway. In real
Yeah.
life, I am.
Yeah.
But I don't hide anything now. I don't care. You know.
I think that's age. I
Age has a
certainly,
lot to do with it.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I have become more confident at 50 than I ever was at 30 or 40. I think you find yourself.
Oh, nah, arm hair.
Good night. Thank you, arm hair. No, I think age does. I think you become more confident. And really, hi, Angela. Good to see you. And good night, Kenny.
Or is Kenny going to bed as well? No, no.
I think Kenny has other things that they're busy with at the moment.
All
And
right.
night, Mar, how are you? Good to see you. Just say hello to a few catnip. And anyone else that came in, thank you. This is the lovely Helen Chaffer. I still think I'll always call you Chaffer, but you said it's Chaffer.
Well, I don't mind whatever folk call me. You know, I get called both, so, or Shady for even.
Oh yeah, you've been called Shady Fur.
Yeah.
Mm. Shady fur. Well, it's not too bad, is it? It's not really too
What's
bad.
Giggle saying? I don't know how you, a
Oh,
creator on here, Helen, with what you're saying, you stand your ground and you're so calm and controlled. Yeah, I do feel able to be calm. I don't get angry a lot. Mind you, when I was growing up, there were a lot of like suppressed anger. You know, I weren't going to show anybody that, you know, when things were unfair, like we had all the jobs to do in the house and my
yeah,
stepbrothers didn't, and they had good clothes and I had one pair of jeans and, you know, things like that. But
yeah.
I didn't really, I used to get really angry at my sister because my sister tried to get him to like her. And I saw that as weakness. I'm
You
thinking,
didn't want.
don't do that.
You didn't want to like
No,
him.
because I knew he wouldn't like us. It was so clear. I mean, he didn't even speak to us unless it was to give us a job, and he'd say to my mum like, "What's your daughter?" You know, he wouldn't talk to us. He'd talk via my mum. You know, he wouldn't address us.
Thank you, cleaning up glitter.
Oh, I love that name. But
More.
I don't
That's a
think you
lovely
should clean
comment.
up
Thank
glitter.
you. More lives needs to be done about this topic. Thank you for sharing your story.
Oh,
Can I ask you, Helen,
yeah.
how was your mother aware of this? Or where did she stand?
Now, this is a bit difficult because my mum is...
Okay, I get that. I get that. Your mummy's still alive.
But I
Okay.
have said to my mum, I have diagnosed her myself, that she has narcissistic personality disorder. And I think she could only see her own stuff at the time. So I just think that's how she was.
And maybe after her experience with your dad,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say that had a lot to do with it. She
Yeah.
was left
Yeah.
with two young girls.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, we're talking what, back in the 60s, 70s?
70s, yeah.
Oh, yeah. A lot different than it is now. There wasn't really
Yeah.
any support or help.
Well, my grandma was fantastic. I
Yeah.
loved well, she's died now. My grandma and granddad, I mean, they were married from very young. They were, they celebrated the diamond wedding. They were just brilliant. They used to babysit for us, and they had me and my sister on a Sunday, when my mum and my stepdad went out. And I know my grandma loved me,
Yeah.
you know. And I
Yep.
think you need someone. You know, I think a lot of people are saved by having a good grandma or a good auntie or a good big sister.
Yeah.
You know,
For
Diamond's
someone just,
wedding
yeah.
is 60
60.
Diamond wedding is 60 years. So they were married over 60
Wow.
years. They got a card from the Queen. And because the Queen was celebrating her diamond thing at the same time, they were invited to, I think it was York Cathedral or somewhere. Or was that a golden? That might have been a golden.
A golden's
50.
50.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Golden's 50, yeah. But they did, I don't know whether they went to the cathedral for the golden or the diamond. I think it was the golden. But yeah, they celebrated the diamond wedding. Obviously, they were getting on a bit. Then I couldn't afford to buy anything with diamonds in for them.
No,
So I got
but
this like, I got this sort of crystal clock thing. And my grandma had already like started with dementia, and obviously you get a bit fumbly with your hands, and she was taking this crystal clock thing out, and she dropped it and it broke.
Oh no! Oh, Helen! Oh no!
Oh, I know.
Oh,
she felt really bad as well. I'm
oh.
like, it's all right. We can go and take it back and get her another. We'll say it were broken box.
And we've never done that before, have we? Hello, Ginger. But no, 60 years, that is some achievement.
Yeah.
And it really is.
They were respectful and so supportive of each other right to the end. You know, it was a really good marriage.
So you then went on to have your lovely 5 children. You were blessed with your 5 children.
Yeah.
And obviously then that led up your career. Then you retired. And your books.
Well, one
is there
of my
a bit in between?
children,
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that. And
so when I was, after I'd had Morgan, then I was a single parent for a while. Then
that was your first son.
Yeah. Yeah. Then I was still making bad choices. Got with this lad. And we were going out for a while, and then he moved in, and we had 2 more children. But some of the things he did, I had a cat, and my cat had kittens, and he killed 3 of the kittens, and he tried to strangle me, and I had to run down to the neighbours and call the police, and he smashed my window. Well, he smashed 2 windows, and they were it wasn't good, you know.
No.
But I kept hoping, because what he used to do, things like that happened, and then he'd come like 2 o'clock in the morning, as they do when you're in bed, crying outside, you know, I'm sorry, you know, and all that. And I ended up like forgiving a lot.
Yeah.
But in the end, I'd had enough. So I moved to the Isle of Wight with my 3 children. I moved there in.
Okay, Dorothy.
I moved there in. I think it was Easter. Not 100% sure. And then in the August, he rang me up again, saying, I want to see my boys. And he'd just lost his job because he went into work high. And he said, I'll drive down and pick you up and drive back, you know. And I ended up giving in because I thought, because first I was saying, I have no money to cope or anything, you know. So I agreed. And then the first night was the first night that I hadn't gone up with my children and kissed them good night, because their auntie and grandma did it, and I was too busy chattering away, catching up downstairs, you know. And then the day after that, we'd done a bit of shopping, because I bought some food, then I weren't eating his mum's food. And he said, could he play outside, because there was some people there he knew from before we moved. And I were going to put the food shop away. And then a man came running up after just a few minutes, really, and said that there'd been an accident, you know. So I ended up running down where he said the ambulance had just gone, actually. And so then I went to the hospital really quick. And
was this Morgan?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was semi-conscious when I got to the hospital.
Yeah.
He knew I was there. and he was touching the back of the head like his head
Yeah.
hurt.
What age was he?
He was 7. And
Only a
then,
baby.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been there a
Are you okay, Helen?
while.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, honestly.
Okay.
Um,
We're all here for
we've
you.
been there yeah. And then his Glasgow coma score, the GCS, went down.
Right.
You know, when they do, it's like, are your pupils responsive?
Yeah.
Are you conscious? They do this score, and his score had gone down. So they thought he was going to be fine, you know, but
Yeah.
then he had to go for CT scan, and the CT scan showed that he had a bleed on the brain.
Right.
So they said they were going to transfer him to Booth Hall Hospital in Manchester. So we went by ambulance to Booth Hall. When we got to Booth Hall, he had another CT scan, and half his skull was full with blood.
Right.
So he had to go straight away to theatre to kind of release the pressure. And they were telling me, like, you know, he might be, we might have to keep him in an induced coma for a while afterwards, you know, quite a few days or whatever. And that, but it was coming out too fast, and he actually died in theatre. The accident happened at 2:30 in the afternoon, but it was 10:30 at night before he was in theatre and died, you know, and they missed like bone splinters in his brain, and his head was moving side to side in the ambulance. They actually put a neck brace on, and I think that caused more damage. But they get really defensive, don't they? And at the inquest,
Yeah.
they had a lawyer there and everything, and
Yeah.
but I wasn't after money or anything. I just
No.
wanted to know.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course you have. You have the right as his mummy to know.
yeah. So I didn't like sue or anything like that.
No.
I just wanted to know how it happened.
Yeah.
That it came in, and then hours later,
He was
he
gone.
died. Yeah.
And I mean, never in your wildest, you know, thoughts that would you ever think something like that would have happened. Nobody
No.
thinks that as a parent.
No.
You're not prepared for it.
No. It was weird. You're in. I heard Michelle Walks talking about her son's death the other day, and she called it something like derealization or something like that, where things don't seem real. You're just walking around, but everybody else is just like living normal lives, and this big thing has happened, and the world has totally changed.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
It has. A good friend of mine, her daughter.
Yeah.
And her daughter was murdered.
Oh.
When she was 18.
Yeah.
And she had reported her missing. And it was 2 weeks later that they found her. They got the person that done it.
Yeah.
And it was a shallow grave.
Oh.
And she was angry that she was angry at herself for thinking that she should have felt that her daughter had passed.
Oh, that's guilt, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And then angry.
Yeah.
At who done it.
Yeah.
You know, it's and I remember just when you actually say that, she felt anger at other people walking by them in the street. That's how dare you nearly like walk by me laughing, joking, getting on with your life. You've no idea what's happened in mine.
And this is what I tried to get through to AD.
Hello, boss lady.
My son wasn't murdered, but the four, if you count Nico, although he wasn't born yet, 4 were murdered.
They were.
And AD's why is he getting angry at me? Because it's a stage of grief, and you are making that grief worse, because first you've got like shock and disbelief, then you've got like your anger and your sadness, and there's 5 stages. I can't remember them off the top of my head. I did a video on it to try and explain why people, you know, of course Frankie gets angry, that it's normal. And
oh my goodness,
AD should understand why he's getting angry at him. It's a normal stage of grief, and he's got something to be angry about, you know.
Yeah, he has.
I mean, when it first happened, it was outside my grandma and granddad's house, because my grandma and granddad just live around the corner from my sort of mother-in-law, and people were leaving like teddy bears and flowers.
Yeah.
And I was looking out my grandma's window at him, and a man was walking his dog, and he just let his dog wee on the flowers.
Yeah.
And I didn't get angry, but I just thought, some people just have no idea.
No, they don't.
They don't have a clue.
Yeah. They're going about their daily life and the grief. And the grief is, you know, and there is no timeline, as you say, cleaning up glitter for stages of grief.
No, there isn't.
You see anger, probably, you know, the Rutex with more than half of their family been murdered by someone that they all loved. It's absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
Hello, Valerie.
And AD has no comprehension, and seeking the truth with Dave, they've no comprehension of what they're going through. They have no idea.
Hey, Lauren. I think I would actually be in prison.
Yeah.
And I actually
my
think
mum blamed my ex. My mum blamed my ex, but I had to say, like, you know, it's not.
No, it wasn't his fault.
He didn't know that would happen.
No.
I mean, he's done a lot of dumb things, but there was no harm in what he did then. He was not to blame. It was just a really bad accident. It's just one of those accidents that a proper 1 in a million, because he just had a new bike, and
he paid.
And the bike that he'd been on was this boy on the street, and it was like exactly the same bike, but because this bike was older, the brakes weren't working.
Right.
Whereas he had new brakes, you know, and it was a slope, so he couldn't stop on the slope. And then there's a little kind of fire hydrant thing. They're only about like 6 inches square. So his front wheel hit the curb, hit the fire hydrant, and then sort of catapulted into a wall. And the chances of him hitting that little fire hydrant,
I know.
You know, it's like everything came together wrong, you know. And I didn't eat for 3 days because I felt we last ate tomato soup, and I felt I can't eat because my last meal was with Morgan, and if I eat, then it won't be anymore. So it was like a betrayal if I ate, you know.
In your mind it was.
Yeah. And I weren't hungry either, you know, but you know, I did end up eating in the end, and But yeah, grief makes you do the weirdest things.
It can send you mad.
It did. It did.
Yeah,
It did send me crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. I weren't right. And that's how I ended up with the next fella, because I weren't right.
Oh, can you answer this,
Oh, sorry.
Helen? That's from Julie, our lovely Julie.
Ask Helen when I was last in her chat that what she's frightened of with the communication
Had with her in her channel.
I'm not sure what that means. Ask Helen when I was last in her.
Oh, sorry.
I think I don't know what that means. That what she is frightened of with
The communication I had with her in her channel.
Oh, do you mean like the anxiety about phones and things like that, and working through it? Yeah. Do you yeah.
The video, Helen.
The video. The video.
How long ago was this, Julie, now?
Now I'm not sure.
Yes, no cobwebbing. If it didn't happen maybe an hour ago, the old menopausal mind, Helen, hope you don't mind me saying, my memory is...
Cobwebbing. I don't know what cobwebbing means.
Is that not when you're... No, maybe I'm wrong. Yes, no cobwebbing. Is cobwebbing not your brain? 2 weeks ago. That your brain is filled up with cobwebs and you can't remember.
Is that what it means?
Well, I think it is. Or maybe it's totally...
I told
Oh, right.
Yes! Yeah, now I know.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Laurie, I am sorry. You were very young, Laurie. You're only 18. Be more specific, Julie. 18 is a very, very hard age to lose, your dad or your mum, because you're just going into really adulthood. That's the time that you rely on your, you do rely on your parents at that age. So what is this video? Oh, he was only 45. Oh, Laurie. My daddy was only 58 when he died. And it is awful. 45 is a young man.
35, yeah.
Was your daddy 35, Helen?
Yeah. And the ex who drove me up north, he died at 27. With alcohol. He just turned to drink. And but there's a lot more to that story as well. I won't go into all that, but
yep.
The video, Julie was saying about orbs coming out and like about knowing things. Like Sandy knew, didn't she, that something had happened, and some people say, don't they know when their child died if they weren't there, or they know when and Dave's trying to twist that into,
oh no,
Sandy actually knew because she was involved,
Oh my God.
Yeah, but she doesn't mean that. She meant she felt it,
I don't know, as a father, that he can sit up there and do that.
Yeah.
To a family that have lost 4 members to murder.
I can cut him a little bit of slack because of the Asperger's.
Okay, all right.
He won't get the emotional stuff the same. But even with Asperger's, you should know to be respectful. You should have learned to be respectful.
Yeah. And I'm definitely not for cancel culture. I think everyone should have a place to speak their mind.
Yeah.
But there's people, and I will say this, like him and others like him, have no
Yeah.
right when they target a family.
Yeah.
That,
When
no.
freedom of speech isn't freedom to abuse. If you are abusing, then I'm sorry, but you lose your right to free speech when that happens, because you are affecting the rights
Yeah,
of
that's
other
true.
people to feel safe and be able to be free from abuse.
That's true, and I think people forget that.
Yeah.
They say, I free speech, but you need to look at the other bit,
Yeah.
that's written into the law, is that free speech does not give you the right to
Yeah.
say what you want and whenever you want and have no,
Yeah.
backlash from that, be
Yeah.
it
You
by
can't
law
just
or
go and be
no.
horrible and be, well, it's defamation, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Tracy. It is, of course it is.
Yeah.
And
It's
you're
as
right, clean
bad
up glitter. Yeah.
it's as bad as these people that vandalize gravestones.
Oh, look, yeah. Me and Dorothy actually were talking about that.
Yeah.
It was, them in America, they have those big mausoleums, and
Yeah.
some of those have went neglected and
Yeah.
deserted. And then not only that, but there's been people come in and trying to break in because they're in the wall, obviously the remains. Why would anyone want to break in and do that? Why? And Dorothy said maybe it's because they think they've jewellery.
Could be, yeah.
Or is it just because they
Or
can?
teenage sort of bravado.
Yeah.
And they don't realise that, because when you're a teenager, I don't think you think about other people much. You think more about your own. You're just interested in your own life, aren't you? Really, you just who you fancy, who you don't like.
Yeah.
And you don't think too far beyond that. So teenagers do some stupid things that they're ashamed of when they're older.
But they would look back and think, how can I do that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, how can I do this? And as I say, me and Dorothy were having a chat. I had no idea how much it cost in America. Now, obviously, her parents were in a mausoleum, and it's well kept and it's secure. When someone passes, that's another thing. The financial pressure. She said it could cost up to $20,000.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely shocking. Wow.
It didn't cost me that much.
No,
but because I was a single parent, I was on benefit. Because I was down from 3 children to 2 children, they cut your benefit. But you still have the same bills.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, a headstone was 500. I didn't get a massive fancy one. The funeral cost, there is a funeral grant, but it's not enough to cover. The vicar was really good because he gave his services for free, and the funeral director was trying to help me in a way. He put a charge down for the vicar, but I thought you can't lie, you can't.
No.
It's my son. You can't
I get
try
that.
and fiddle. You can't fiddle when it's. But he was trying to help me in a way to get the amount paid. But I won't have it. I told him that the vicar didn't charge a penny because I just couldn't have it. So I ended up. I mean, my mum gave me a ring that she'd got off an ex-boyfriend. That I could auction. So that gave me 80 quid. But I still owed quite a lot. And I just had to do it in dribs and drabs. And there is a financial cost. And it's not one that it's not one that you factored in, you know. So that was another reason why I ended up with my husband, because I was just, at first I wasn't in a fit situation to sort things out, and my money had gone down, but I owed more. And I was just getting deeper and deeper into a mess that I didn't know how to get out of, and my only thought was like escape, really. So
and you shouldn't have had to do that, along with the loss and the grief.
no,
You were
but it
struggling
seemed to
financially.
work at the time. Yeah, it seemed to work at the time. So I could move out of the rented and into his house, you know, but I hardly knew him. We met on the phone. You know how people meet on dating things now, swipe right and all that?
Yes.
Well, there were none of that in my day.
Right.
But I used to get a bottle of drink, and I used to go on, what they had then was chat lines on the phone.
Helen, yes.
Do you remember them? They cost
That's
a
gone
fortune.
back in the day. Yeah.
They cost a fortune. But I met this chap, and it was weird because we started talking, and his ex-wife lived in my old council house in Burnley when I moved down to the Isle of Wight. So it was like one of those, you know, like, oh, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
You know.
But it wasn't really.
No, he came down for, I think it was 2 days to see me in the November. I went up in the January, stayed for... No, I moved in the January. I moved in the January. He came down for a couple of days. Then I moved up in the January. And that's how... It could have been an axe murderer or any... Do you know what I mean?
Helen,
but I wasn't...
You didn't know him.
I wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking right at all. I was just trying to... Well, try to escape and find a solution, and I was mental, to be honest. You know,
you were coping with everything.
It wasn't a good decision. So I got up there. I moved in January. We got married in the July.
Right.
And then my ex, who wasn't happy, died 2 weeks after I got married. Then I signed a thing with our house that I gave up all rights to the house because it made it a bit awkward. So I did that and then moved to the Isle of Wight. But he hadn't been to the solicitor to finalise that and take my name off. So the bank couldn't find me for quite a while. But when they did find me, the mortgage was in arrears.
Right.
There were tenants in the property, but they said because the contract was with my ex, I couldn't get the housing benefit that the tenants were paying the rent with. So I had, and I was pregnant by this time.
Right. Okay. Your fourth baby. This is your fourth baby.
That was the fourth. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So because I was pregnant, I wasn't working.
Yeah.
I had no income of my own. I couldn't pay these arrears. The house got, and my new husband just said, let it get repossessed. Hand the keys in. Now in America that works, but in Britain I didn't know. But when they sell the property, which they do, it was in negative equity, so I couldn't sell it. But they sold it for 16,000, which meant I still owed 16,000, and they sent me a bill for 16,000. And I had nothing to pay it with. I just kept, they just kept threatening things, and I'm thinking, now they're going to take this chap's house off them, but they couldn't do that. I even looked into going bankrupt, but I went to a solicitor and I tried to explain it all because I'm thinking I'm sure. And we had an endowment mortgage, But when
Oh,
I moved away, he changed the mortgage to an interest-only mortgage.
oh
But
no.
I didn't sign anything. I didn't know he changed the mortgage.
Oh no.
So there was no insurance on it or anything, because he could have, with the endowment, it would have paid the mortgage off when he
Yeah, it
died.
would. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But he didn't. He'd switched it to an interest-only mortgage to save money, and so that, and I kept going to different people to try and get advice. But nobody could help me, and I looked into going bankrupt. But you had to pay at that time £500 to be made bankrupt. I didn't have
Yeah, you can't pay.
£500,
No, of course
so
you
I
didn't.
couldn't even go bankrupt.
Yeah, yeah,
So just kept sending me, letters,
yeah.
and they weren't as polite as they are now.
All right. Was this like the knuckle dusters and?
The debt collectors, and I kept trying to explain to them that I don't have any money,
Yeah.
and in the end, after I think I paid like some monthly thing, like £10 a month or something like that, and in the end, after about 3 years, my mum said, "I'll lend you I've got 3,000 I can lend you, and I'll write a letter and we'll offer it in full and final settlement." And they accepted that in the end.
Thank goodness.
Because they wouldn't have
Oh, they
got
weren't
that
going
off
to get
me.
yeah, they weren't going to get anything.
Yeah. So
And I
then
think,
obviously
yeah,
I had bad credit for years, and sort of, all through my life, there's always been stuff happen
yeah,
that you'd never guess were going to happen, and I call it the Chaffer Curse. And my son says you need to stop negative talk. You're talking negatively to yourself. You should, and that's, if you talk negatively, good things will never happen. But I said, no, I'm just being realistic. These things happen. And I just laugh at it and call it the Chaffer Curse. And like when I eventually left this husband after 16 years
wow.
of emotional abuse,
Oh, well,
I know, because I didn't recognize emotional abuse. I knew physical abuse because I'd been there, but I never knew, because he didn't hit me, I didn't
yeah.
recognize it as abuse.
And it's only
And
now
then,
become law.
yeah,
Isn't it?
yeah.
Coercive control.
But that was just after my divorce as
Oh,
well.
wow.
And I know. And he didn't want to. He did sign a letter agreeing that he'd been emotionally abusive, so we could get divorced. It took me 4 years to get a divorce because he didn't want me to have any of the house.
Right, okay.
He kept the house, and 2 days before I moved out, he was on maturematch.com looking for my replacement.
Oh, my goodness.
And I know, and he found this woman and moved her in, and I was in rented again, and it took, like I say, it took years for me to get divorced. He didn't want to give me anything, and then he offered me a ridiculously small amount, so I went to a solicitor, but he did valuations on the house. He said they wouldn't let an estate agent in from me to value the house. So I just had to accept his valuations, which were a lot lower than it was. So I ended up, because I was thinking, well, when I get this, I can pay my debts off, put a deposit on a house, I was working,
and move
but
on
it
forward.
took so long, and the solicitor's bill was so massive. My settlement was 25,000, and the solicitor was 8,000. I owed 2,000 to a friend who'd lent me to pay some of the solicitor's fees on the interim, and I was falling behind with
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
and there was nothing left to put a deposit down.
Yeah.
There was just enough left for me to clear my debts,
Yeah.
but I still had to pay rent, and stuff. And so, and his girlfriend had a house, but she moved into my old house. And then 2 weeks after the decree absolute, he put the house up for sale at 35,000 more than the valuation that he gave me. But obviously he didn't think, oh, I've got more money for house, so I'll be fair. It wasn't, She gave her house to her grown-up daughter.
And she moved.
Yeah. So they had my nice 3-bedroom house with a conservatory and a nice garden, and they had all that, and I had nothing basically,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that's why I call it the Chaffer Curse. I always end up with the rubbish end of the stick somehow.
But
and sometimes they say it's because I'm too nice, and other people aren't nice.
but you can't be anything but you. I mean,
Yeah.
you to do anything else, Helen, you wouldn't be, true to yourself. You have to do what you feel is right.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
you're a kind person. And you're not a nasty person.
And it's got me living in the tiniest flat you can imagine. It's only one up from a bedsit, really. My bedroom isn't even big enough to fit a full-size double in, so I've got a small double.
But it's
and then
yours.
I've got me.
It's your safe space.
Well, it's rented.
And you have it lovely.
But it's not mine.
Doesn't matter.
But I'm happy here.
Yes, you are.
Here.
And you can live there for as long as you. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the smallness because it's like, it is, cats like to go in boxes because they feel safe, don't they, in a small space?
Yeah.
So I like my small space. It's easy to keep clean.
Well,
it's small and
well, I've seen your apartment. It's not a flat; it's an apartment now. Yeah, we don't call them flats anymore. It's apartments.
All right.
On your lives, and you have it beautiful. You really do. And it's just lovely, compact and safe. It's yours, Helen. It is yours.
Yeah.
And you feel safe in there. Yes, Valerie, it's your safe haven. It is.
It is, yeah. Yeah. And I just say this. It's in my building there are a lot of special people.
Okay, yep. Yep, okay, I've got you. Yep.
Yeah. Because I was down having depression and that, so this is where I am. But so there are people with
maybe they had past addictions and
yeah,
I get that. Yep.
And present addictions
and present addictions,
things like that. But this happened today actually, that there's a lady who lives there and she's been asking me around for a brew since I moved in, so over a year and a half. And I was
there's any American people, a brew is a cup of tea or a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Better make that clear.
I was using, because I am so antisocial. So I was using COVID as an excuse, and then so today she came round and I said I'd teach her to do some jewelry making. I mean, she's got health problems. Her hands were really shaky, so she struggled, but she were really glad to come round. And then as she were going, she said, shall we make it every Thursday? And inside I'm thinking, no, this is why I don't let people in. Because it ends up like a commitment, you know.
Yeah, and you don't want commitment.
but
Nobody wants commitment.
Yeah, but I'm fine with Thursdays. I can handle Thursdays, I think.
I actually think...
And I think it'll do me good.
And I think it'll do her good. And it'll also do her good.
Yes. Yeah, it will. It will, definitely. Because she has carers.
Yeah.
She walks with a frame, and she struggles. So, yeah.
That's what I'm going to say, John. I was thinking exactly the same. Helen, you are so honest. And I think that's what makes...
Yeah.
But you know something? Don't ever change.
There's some things I've kept hidden.
No, that's fine. Yep.
That's because they'll hurt other people.
Yeah, I get that.
So,
yep.
But that's the tip of the Chaffer Curse. There's a lot more.
But Helen, you come out the other side and you laugh, and you have fantastic children who you're very close to, and they're very good to you.
Yeah.
One even bought you a big glittery reindeer for Christmas.
Yeah.
Was it a reindeer? Yep.
You know, they bring me flowers. My youngest daughter will bring me an occasional bottle of wine, you know, like maybe once every couple of months or something. They are really good, you know. I mean, when I had, because when I first moved in, I struggled because my phone problems, right? Mm-hmm. So I struggled getting a new doctor, and I was getting repeat prescriptions from down south, and then they said, no, come on now, you need to get a doctor where you live. So, and I ended up like putting it off and running out of medication, mm-hmm. and having a crash, you know. And my daughters phoned up the crisis team for me and took me to an appointment. Thanks, Julie. I'm going to call you JD then. I was dyslexic reading the second bit.
I know, JD, DJ. Yep.
Yeah. When something's serious, well, Frankie knows that. Frankie knows. Do I have an Asda? There is
not all day. Not all day. Asda.
Aldi's near me.
You love your Aldi.
Well, it's round the corner.
That's great.
So, I haven't said that before because I didn't want anybody working out where I live. But I've done it now. So it's round the corner. So it takes me like 3 minutes to walk to. So that's about as far as I get. Do you know, since I've moved up here and I've been here over a year and a half, I've never been into the town centre. I just go to Aldi, and I went to Townley Park twice with my grandson. Mm-hmm. I've been to my daughter's house, but they come here rather than me go there. And I've been to my son's, but I got a lift. And I've been to hospital. And because I don't go anywhere, you know, I just nip to Aldi.
And you after I first, you lived down in Portsmouth, is that right? Portsmouth, down south.
Gosport, just across.
Gosport, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you've had a very, you know, Helen, you certainly haven't had a boring life, right? You also managed to fit in through all this 2 books.
Yeah.
And your first book was it Mortification or was it Used?
Used was my first book.
Yeah.
And I was off work with depression and anxiety. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, well, I'll write a book, because I always look for, I get obsessional about hobbies when I'm in a depressive mode.
Right.
So I just wrote. And the reason I wrote it is because when I worked in a Burnley school, I knew victims of grooming.
Right.
And I know my own
Oh, there's lovely
children
Ange.
had been approached.
Right. Yep.
They countless times they've had cars slowed down and asking them to get in, and they know not to walk near the curb, and they've had friends who have fallen victim to grooming and had really sad situations. And the youngest one I knew was 12, and the attitude of people, because I was working in the school then, and the attitude of people around was weird. I knew I had an Asian friend round the corner, and she lived across from the 12-year-old, and she just said, "Oh, she's a dirty girl. She's prostituting herself. She's letting men do all this stuff." And I'm thinking, she's 12-year-old, and they are Muslim men in, well, proper adult, you know. And there was just this attitude that white British girls weren't looked after, so it was their parents' fault if bad things happened to them. They were just trash. They wore clothes that meant they were asking for trouble. They weren't accompanied places, so that was asking for trouble. They had a different outlook, that if you were a good girl, you stayed in the house, or if you went out, you were accompanied by a relative, and you kept covered up, properly covered up. I started a community cohesion group at the school to try and address some of this stuff, because and I used to try, because there was racism, there was anti-white racism as well as the other way. And we used to meet once a week in the school and have, well, we started with a big breakfast. I went to the supermarkets and got them to donate food, and we got a cash donation as well to get started. And we had this big breakfast. I thought, I'll make it a proper. So we had like fruit and, toast and crumpets and croissant and all kinds of things we had. And then every week there was a different thing. Like, I got the credit union in. I got the police were in to talk about the anti-terrorist stuff and the education on that. I got the domestic violence people in. I did Zumba with. I would never have done that, but I had to do it because the women were there. We did. We got. We made hanging baskets. We got a chap in who knew about free food, so we made garlic pesto, and we did all kinds of things. We had, and the school paid for us a coach to go to an educational bookshop. So we made story sacks, and they were given £10 to spend at the educational bookshop, and loads of things. We did loads of things, and it was really good. And but they still called me Gary when I wasn't. They thought I didn't know, and that is, it's kind of like the N word, but for white people.
Ah, right. Yep.
Yeah. So I used to say, you know, I'm not Garee, my name's Helen, you know, and I do it with a smile and just try to get them to see that the group was called Mum to Mum because what I'd said were we're all mums. We have differences, but we all have the same problems when it comes to
Yeah.
children.
Yeah, we
You
do.
know, we all go
Yeah.
through the same stuff raising children. And I tried to reason a little bit about, you know, like they can't even show the forearms. And I used to make light of it, saying, do you know, I have never met a man who said, Cole, look at the forearms on that woman.
True.
You know?
Very, very true. That's true.
You know, so I used to make a bit light of it, really. And I used to say, you know, it's like men aren't like robots or animals. They have to have self-control. It's not. Oh, thank you, Angela. It's not like
I put the links in just above for the 2 books.
oh, thank you.
Oh yeah. And they're very reasonable.
Oh,
On
you're
Kindle.
all organised. Oh, they're cheap, yeah.
Yeah. No, and they're very good and to support our lovely Helen. They're from $2.99, I think.
Yeah.
And it's Kindle.
I weren't gonna do an AD and put like ridiculous.
$35.99.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because when I wrote Used.
Oh, good night, Julie. Thank you so much for your
Oh,
support.
thank you, Julie. Yeah.
We love the chat.
Hubby wants to get some sleep. Yeah. We have to do stuff for him now and again, don't
Of
we?
course, yeah, we have to be nice, kind.
Yeah, and so I wrote Used because I wanted to change the attitude. So in Used, I've got racist white people, I've got racist Asian people, and I've also got good Asian people and good white people. And a lot of people can't understand why the girls do it. So I've described the grooming process.
Yeah.
And how it all works. Oh, okay, Julie. And how
is that similar, Helen, to that awful time? Was it in Leeds?
Yes,
There was.
I mean, there was a case in Burnley.
Burnley. Was it the drama?
But there was Rotherham. Three girls that were based in Rotherham.
3 girls was Rotherham. Yeah, horrendous.
I went to as part of my work. They let me go to a conference that was the police, because they were trying to raise awareness in schools and everything. And they let me go to that conference because they knew that was like close to my heart.
Yeah.
You know, so the grooming process, we follow this. It's a fictional girl, but it's based on things I've seen, heard, and read that are real.
Yeah. And
it just starts with, you know, the car slowing down and going, "You're right, beautiful," you know, and the teenage girl smiling shyly, you know, and then it just carries on from there. And then they get bought presents, and then they feel indebted, and the blokes start saying, "Do you think I buy all this vodka and all this, and you won't do anything for me?" And they use those kind of tricks, you know. They only buy cheap jewelry.
Yeah, it's drink and cheap jewelry, maybe clothes,
some chips or some ice cream.
Yeah, kebab. Yeah.
So I go through all that, and she ends up thinking she has to do these things because she owes him and she loves him.
I know, this is it, yeah.
And he uses the love thing to make her booster.
Yeah, they're so vulnerable.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're only children. They are only children.
Yeah, it's like being in an abusive relationship, any other abusive relationship that they don't quite know how they got there, you know, but they end up like lying to the parents. And if they don't go out the house to meet their abuser will ring them up and threaten them, and the parents can't do anything about it. They're just like, we're at the corner of the street, come out now, you know. And my daughter's had friends, you know, and with children who have to go out the house and then they're gone for days, and because they get addicted to drugs and they just can't get out of it. They can't. And the drugs take away some of the, you know, they numb them to what's going on. So they're kind of glad to have the drugs to do what they've got to do. And it's just a horrible, horrible
it is.
world. And like I said, the youngest one I knew it was happening to was 12 years old.
12.
And there wasn't a court case about her, but my daughter's friend's sister was in a major Burnley court case where there was 6 men and they had to DNA test all of them to check paternity of her child.
6.
Yeah. And it wasn't any of them, because she actually got pregnant deliberately because she thought, if I'm pregnant, they won't make me do. But it didn't stop. Being pregnant didn't make it stop. But yeah, they DNA tested all 6 of them. And
that's awful. I mean, that is just awful. She's only a wee baby.
There's quotes from, I mean, she got took to houses, and it's like this man said, like, yeah, I've had her, you can have her now. And, you know, they just get passed around.
Yeah.
And they just have to get on with it, because the quicker they get on with it, the quicker they get to go on. And if they don't do, you know, they met with violence. And they still feel like it's love, because it is a bit like being in a battered.
Yeah, it is. But it is.
And they're children, so they haven't got the maturity to cope with it at all. Like in the book, I have one scene where she's crying, and he's just saying, like, so you're a kid. I thought you were like mature enough to handle what grown-ups do.
Oh my God.
You know? And they twist everything so that they feel like they're being a child if they cry or protest.
They're a child inside, but they
are
want
a child, but they want to be in a grown-up relationship because they think Prince Charming's come along.
Yeah.
And paid them some nice attention, bought them things, took them out in the car, took them shopping, you know, and then they just don't realise what they're getting into.
No, they don't.
No.
How can they? At 12, I don't even think I knew the facts of life. And I'm being honest, I didn't.
Yeah.
I was so green.
Yeah.
Innocent. And I think that drama, 3 girls, woke a lot of people up. It really did. Yeah. They had no idea this was going on.
But you know, it had been happening for generations before that.
Of course, yeah.
And people used to just call the girls racist names, like she's a so-and-so lover, or do you know what I mean? But they didn't realise what was going on, and that made the girls feel more excluded and unworthy. And so in the book, I don't want to give too much of the book away, but
no, I don't think so, because I think that your books are very, very reasonable. Yeah. And now that I've put the links in a couple of times, they are very reasonable. They're only a couple of quid, as we say, or $3 or $4.
In the book, I'm gonna do a spoiler alert now.
Right, okay.
Because this is something I wanted to put in the book, because I was looking in what it could lead to. And so there's a girl in the book who was raped at 12 and had a child by this chap. Then her child grows up, her child is groomed by her own father, because it's
Oh my God.
it's a generational problem. And when that mum realizes that it's the father of the girl who's actually grooming her, but he doesn't know that he's her father, that's when it gets, you know, they have to come
Yeah.
up with a plan.
Yeah.
And you know, that's because I thought realistically that could happen, because they start grooming when they're maybe the men are maybe like 18, 19, 20, and then they're still grooming when they've got grey hair. So I thought it could easily happen, couldn't it, that
Oh my God.
they could groom somebody's mum and then groom their daughter and not be aware. And I thought I'll put that in the book, you know.
Yeah.
But I've just spoiled it. I spoiled the book.
No. As Sharon has just said, Helen, it seems so often that these are also children that don't come from easy circumstances
Yes.
and need love. These people spot them
Yes.
from a mile off, like the Max -- case. I'll look for the book. And you know, that is so true, Sharon. They do, they see vulnerable.
Yeah.
And,
They recognise them.
you know, I think not from bad homes or anything, you know, it doesn't have to be like that. It can be some children are more vulnerable and easy got to
Yes.
than others. They definitely are.
If they've already been abused,
Yeah.
that can be spotted easily. Say mum's a single parent, she's out at work a lot, so latchkey kids, or just anything that makes them a little bit, or just the kid who never fit in at school, so
Yeah.
any bit of attention,
Yeah.
they're like, whoa, you know, they're hungry for some positive attention. And these people know that. But like I say, where I lived, it happened numerous times to my girls that the cars slowed down and
God.
do you want to get in? You know,
Oh my God.
and I wonder how many it must be regular, because why would that happen so often? There must be girls that just get in and think they're going to go for a ride, or I don't know, but it's just horrible. It's
It is horrible. It is horrible.
I am going to share something now. Oh no, no, I can't.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm getting carried away with my openness.
No, you are. I mean, I would love to come over to your channel some night. We can arrange to do a live.
Yeah.
And
anytime, yeah.
We can have another good old natter, because there's lots of things that we haven't covered that I think I would like to chat about.
I just talk for English.
No, but I love being able to come on here and have a chat. You know, and your channel is much the same as this. That it's coming up, having a chat, or you know, just about everything, and you're so open. But maybe the next time you can ask me the questions as well.
Oh yeah. Have you got a Chaffer Curse?
No, I haven't. I haven't actually. I think none of us can get through life without things happening.
True.
Sad things.
Yeah.
Loss, but there's been a lot of happiness as well. But I like to think I'm a positive person. The kids probably would say no, I'm not. Yeah. I always think negative.
I think I'm realistic. But my son says I speak negative. Yeah.
They go, oh, you're always, I say, no, I'm realistic. I'm 50. I've seen it all.
Yeah.
What it is normally what it is. You know, it's a con, or
Yeah.
it's this, or it's that. Or you
Yeah.
always think somebody's out to con or do this or do that. Because we've been there. We've seen it.
Yeah.
Haven't
Yeah.
we? We really
And
have.
once you've seen it, you know it exists, and
I can
you
sniff.
want to keep other people safe.
That's why, you know, like, and on YouTube, I think we've all got a big, big, big awakening. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Juror After Dark, coming soon on Helen's death. That sounds good, yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
We could have a bit of fun as well.
Yeah.
I find it hilarious, like the troll names on people's block lists. I mean, they're hilarious.
Yeah.
How they can even come up with the names.
Yeah. Oh, the funniest one I had were,
me and Dorothy laugh and laugh because you think,
yeah.
how could they even come up with these?
Yeah. And they must invent them really fast. They must get them active really, really fast, because it's like, you know, something's happened and then they've got a name, and it's like related to what's happened, you know.
Well, I am actually going to say thank you to one tonight. Dorothy's blocked him 5 times. He came in.
A lot of chat.
Yeah, he came in tonight earlier, but he came in at a moment, and I have to say I have to thank him. He obviously came in and realised what the conversation was, and he realised this wasn't appropriate, and he left. Dorothy's blocked him 5 times, and he keeps coming back.
What are his names?
Oh, I don't know if I should say it. If I say it, he's going to appear.
No, say it, because
I'll do it in private. No, you don't know him, but I'll do it in private chat. He's from another community, and I now think he thinks it annoys us. John knows who it is, and probably Ange.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I didn't even. I was oblivious to you.
When I say a troll,
I didn't even see it.
Right. Yeah. He's one of those people that he's in the chat, and then suddenly the troll account comes into the chat, and he's working off a phone and a laptop, but he thinks people don't know who he really is. But it's quite obvious. Right? But he's not abusive. No, I will say that. He's not abusive. He's just annoying.
Oh, right.
Right.
I'll tell you the funniest troll name.
Right, go ahead.
Helen with a dick in her mouth.
Oh, my God.
And I just thought, you know, you took time to make an account with that name just to come in my comments with that name, you know, and but I actually made a joke about it, you know.
John,
so
you blocked him tonight. I actually thought that he had the wit, but he doesn't even have to say anything now. He just comes in and we see him, and it's like, you know.
I do know it's him if he's got different names.
Oh no, he's got the same name. He keeps coming back in the same name. And he's like, Dorothy, you can't get rid of me. So what he's obviously got about 50 alts, but they're the same name. So he'll get booted, he'll come back, boot it, come back, and it's just like he got 6 boots today. But no, it would be funny, Helen, if we done a night with the names, the block names, because they are funny. They are funny. Now, some of them's not so funny. Some of them's not so funny, I have to say.
That was my top one. So, but I try to own it. You know, when people do stuff, you know, like that one, I said, like, because I was showing my face then. So I just said, well, obviously you can see I have not got a dick in my mouth, you know. And
that's terrible. Yes, Giggler, it is. It is the turtle. I mean, really? To say that to you, Helen, that's awful. I mean, I've had comments. I've only had this channel a month, right? And I was warned that once you get a channel, even though you've been around the tubes, once you get a channel, you're going to get it. You're going to get the comments. You're going to get the tags. You're going to get all this. Yeah. That's so true, right? Yeah. I think I wasn't even up 24 hours. And a troll from our other community, well, the Truthers community that I know came in and she got booted. But I laugh. Yeah. I think they're funny. I read them and respond back and then boot them. I do. Do you do the same? Yeah, I do. I quite enjoy it.
You know, I actually, I always said when I first started, I said I'm not going to block people.
No,
any comments you make, I'll leave them up, and I try and answer them. Now,
it's like a Space Invaders game. Yeah, you do have to.
I still try to.
Oh, Valerie. Yeah. We're all trolled.
And if they're trying to make a point, but it's a wrong point, you know, I will try and.
I think I can smell the ones that really just want to troll. I mean, one of them was my accent. You're all fake.
Aww.
No, you're all fake. No, a fake. Apparently, I put on a fake Northern Irish accent, and I'm really Scottish.
Oh.
Right. Okay. Didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
Now, Valerie would tell you I'm typically. Oh yeah. And that I pause. It's the long pauses. I mean, why would any? You know, you have to laugh and think.
I do the long pauses.
I'm so sorry that I pause. But I do have fun. I actually do. Violet, I'll be honest, I love having a bit of fun with them. But I think we should do that. I think we should show a short couple of clips. There's maybe one channel that you're not aware of, Helen. And they're called The Grim Truther. Not the Grim Reaper, but the Grim Truther.
I've seen the name in chat.
She's lovely.
I've seen the... Yeah.
She makes videos.
Yeah.
She is probably well, I'll just let you see it yourself. But this one here, now I haven't actually watched it, it's only a short clip. But definitely everyone sub to the Grim Truther. She really, really is good.
I will check that out because some of the names I see, I don't know they have channels. I just think they're people commenting. I don't realise they have channels sometimes.
I wonder, can you, hopefully I share the audio. You have to be careful that you share the audio when you do this. Tell me if you hear this. I'm sounding like you clunkety click.
No, that was me clicking because I just saw that it was a private chat message, but it was just you telling me the tickled what's it name?
Oh, the Grim Truther. Did you hear anything there?
I heard something quiet.
Oh, hold on. Ah, right. Share audio. That's why. Sorry, ladies. Right. Share screen. Okay. Don't show this. See, I'm not cool with this. Let's have a look. Yes, John. No, John's Wind Beneath the Weave. Right, here we go. Hopefully you can see this okay.
I can see it.
Can you see it? Okay. I love her starting.
She's a truther.
Oh no.
Oh my God, she doesn't know!
Fun! Not a lot of fun, but enough. Hey, you did it. Stupid doesn't even know. Fun! she doesn't even know.
It's so awful the way they treat you.
I'm just trying to do something nice for...
Damn it, I still can't cry on cue. I'm gonna go work on it.
She's so stupid.
I have the car keys in my pocket, you stupid bitch!
She's a truther.
She has loads of videos. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, what's that?
Oh, that was an evil laugh.
That's Truth Justice. I haven't watched this one and it came out today. We'll have a little watch. I will drop the links for the Grim Truther. And
the reason I sent him, to be honest, I just had this feeling inside me, just send him a letter, send him a letter, send him a letter.
See if you can get some money for selling his letters.
Because it turns out that that thing is real.
There's a lot more to it.
Oh, I saw that lad that was up there.
Okay, I'm going to let the people ask you some questions.
No, stop. Take the pants off now. Why the fuck is this going through my shit? No.
Whoa.
Here's the thing. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're upset because you realize the AD was you. Yes or no?
Yeah, there's so many books. I'm not going They're not going to listen to you. You're not credible.
That thing is
real. You go all the way to the freaking president of the United States if you want to. They're not going to listen to you. You're not credible.
Because it turns out that that thing is real.
My name's Alan. I'm the armchair detective.
My house is a frontier. You cannot come in my house and tell me what I can flip and say. Any of you. Any of you.
Because it turns out that that thing is real.
That, like, I would never send you a nude unless I liked you, right?
No, that's be crazy, isn't it? Because I could do anything.
Right?
Someone has to stop this thing. And that someone is you.
You didn't think it would be that easy, did you? I don't think I'm the one. I'm not the person who can stop this thing.
You are that person. Now take my hand!
For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. I am the reaction.
Oh
yes,
that
I reached a plateau. I reached a plateau in my life, in my gaze.
he has reached a plateau.
and it's all downhill from here.
Oh, it is. I mean, look, how long? I mean, I have to say, you have to give it to him though. How long has he lasted? He's lasted a good while.
Yeah, yeah.
Valerie, did you follow him? I would say there's quite a few people that maybe. Oh, she did, and Violet used to watch him a couple of years ago.
Well, you have to watch him a couple of times to get him, don't you?
Yeah.
Because you don't know till you watch. That MI5 thing.
I know.
There's so many. He forgets because he's one of them people you can tell who's used to saying something that's not quite factual in real life, and then pretending he never said it, so he gets away with it. You can't do that on YouTube because everybody records everything. And he hasn't quite figured that out yet, that there's always a backup video to expose that you actually did say these things. And he just hasn't figured it out.
He hasn't. But then again, the money's coming in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think people now, I think you're always going to have people that will always follow him. And that's fine. Or
Yeah.
follow
And
any
there's
creator.
always new people. There's always new people that don't know him.
True.
And they find a community. Everybody seems really welcoming. And AD seems to know what he's talking about, because he acts like he knows what he's talking about, doesn't he? But it's not till you really, really listen that you think like he ain't got a clue. He's just making it up as it goes along.
I'm just putting the grim truth. The grim truther would concentrate more on Lana.
Yeah.
Right. So I've dropped the link.
Because he would never have Lana on, would he?
No. Do you know, I'm only thinking that, actually.
Yeah. After she did the Shazam thing, there is no way he would ever have her on his channel.
You know something? I think we forget those things.
Yeah.
I keep up with it through yourself, or Truth Justice, or the Undercover Mother. Yeah. And there's a few others.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I don't give him a view. I know sometimes if you maybe can get the free Patreon, you know?
Yes. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. I know, I mean, if you think about like Sherilyn Cadle, you know, first he saw her as someone who'd beat him to write him a book, so he didn't like her. Then he wanted to know about the book, so he invited her on. Then he called her Scribble when the book...
Yes, forgot about her too. Yeah.
It had to get withdrawn because that plagiarized... I can never say this word.
Plagiarized, yeah.
Yeah. Bit that he forgot to take out. So then he was calling her Scribble and mocking her, and he was like really chuffed about that. But then she wrote another book. So then he was all over her again, weren't he? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So none of it's a true niceness of him. He just uses everybody. And he's just friends with whoever. You know, this is why he's gone back to being a Watts supporter, innit?
Of course it is. It's money. It's money. It's not about justice. It's not about any of that. I think we do know that.
Let's see you on board. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like he's fell out with Dave now, hasn't he? But
that was nasty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he put a thing up, was it yesterday or the day before, saying, I'm going to have this person on who is the second biggest Watts channel. And that making Dave out to be like, not nowhere near enough subs, and, you know, just trying to belittle him. And but they're both as bad as each other.
But they were very supportive of each other.
Yeah.
That's my tap running, by the way. Not me.
Yeah, because AD wanted the information that Dave and Red X had, and it was that letters thing, weren't it, as well? With Blair Heather, they were both getting these bits of letters, weren't they?
That's right.
And then all that.
Oh yes, that was the time.
And that was
how can we forget? Oh hell, how can we forget? Blair.
The secret chords.
Yeah, Blair.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, and that shit show.
Because he knew that AD had the brains to work out these codes. But apparently,
why did a killer want to send an old geezer?
He was frightened for his life, weren't he? So what does he do? He writes in secret code for AD to read out on a public platform. Yeah, that's a real good way to
my God, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my, you know
That
something?
makes sense.
That was absolute madness, that Blair.
Yeah.
Now, that actually led on to, it bled into another community. And then there was channels going down, the fighting.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
it was bad. It was really,
Yeah.
really bad at that time.
Yeah.
But these
Do you know
secret
how
codes,
I knew those letters? Do you know how I knew those letters were fake? Because he didn't take credit for them. If there's anything that he thinks is legit,
yeah,
he'll take credit for it. But it wasn't. Oh, it's Blair. Blair's got these letters.
mm-hmm.
So, and he weren't having naught to do with it. So Blair had the letters. He
Yep.
didn't verify Blair.
I know.
Bubbles verified her, so he wouldn't.
No. Bubbles says no. She was on the scene, she said, before she got there.
But it was Bubbles that did the verification, weren't it?
No, I think it was the cat. The cat.
Was it? Oh,
it was the cat.
Oh.
It was. Now, I have to say this about Blair.
Yeah.
I actually kind of do believe her, not about her in contact with Chris. I do believe what she said afterwards, that she didn't hold on. Violet, I just removed that because I think we'd better not mentioning creators' names.
Apart from Eddie and Dave.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, probably. Or Delilah. Did you get my message earlier, by the way?
Oh, me?
Yeah, I sent you a messenger.
Yeah, I got it when I was just looking for the link. So, yeah, I got it a bit late.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Like Delilah and all that crack. But no, what I was saying, no, Valerie, you're fine. You're fine. I'll explain that to you another time and maybe another channel. But Blair said that she didn't say that she was this armed guard, and it was elaborated on.
Yeah.
And I can believe that. And I think a lot of things were elaborated on.
Yeah.
And she kind of went along with it. You know, when you're on that roll and it's kind of getting all, do this, say that. It kind of, things got stretched more than she wanted them to be stretched out.
Yeah, and if you're on a live and somebody says something, you don't want to go against the host, do you?
No.
So it puts you in a really awkward position.
Yeah, I mean, if I said outright lie now, you'd say, I'm not sure, and then hopefully bob on to the next subject.
Yeah.
You know, there's no doubt that there was lies and untruths told at that time. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
No, you're okay, Violet. No, you're fine. There was untruths, lots of untruths at that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
any of the insiders.
Yeah, that's true.
Serious exaggerations and embellishments.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, there's some of them absolutely mad.
Yeah.
But the best one that I loved was when he got like maybe a page of the letter.
Yeah.
Right. And he was milking. That's okay, Dorothy. That he had letters and letters.
Yeah. He said, I've got hundreds of pages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, what was her name? Oh, she had went to Unmasked. And they had the letters. They actually had more letters than one paragraph. And they were advised, put it out tonight. Put it out. He's meant to go say live at 10. You put it out earlier. And they did.
Right. Yeah.
And oh my, there was, the place was packed. Yeah. He was raging. Raging. So that's only, we always end up talking about this because there's been so much in the last 3.5 years,
Yeah.
hasn't there?
So, oh, yeah. So much. So many.
And I don't mean
child sacrifice, letters, guardian angels,
oh my god,
dreams,
yeah,
all kinds of things. Yeah, all mad stuff.
nylon wigs,
Yeah,
tarot cards,
plastic gloves.
I know. 4 chicken fillets.
Yeah. Oh, that was the daftest. Yeah.
I mean, even Frankie and I mean, they laughed about Dieter.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a laugh at an Outlaws live one night.
I did a video on Dieter with a little.
Yeah.
I gave him a German accent because he's a Dutchman.
Oh, we Dieter. How are the family doing, Helen?
Well, as far as I know, they're
all good.
Yeah. Frankie did say in my comments the other day that he can't wait to let us know the progress, but he's not allowed to.
No, I get that. Yep.
To just yet. But there's progress.
That's all we need to know.
Yeah.
And just keep on with the support. And they have got support.
Yeah.
There might be a few channels on here, but overall, there's many millions around the world that support them.
Yeah. Yeah, there are, definitely. Even though certain channels have, changed their mind on things. And AD's gone down the blame, the victim route. There's still a lot more people who
of course there is. Absolutely.
Well, they've got empathy and they know right from wrong.
Yeah. No, they definitely do.
I want to know what French meat pie is.
What? French meat pie?
I just saw it in chat. And
what's French meat pie?
Well,
you're right, Violet. What is French meat pie?
Is it French meat?
Oh.
Or is it French meat pie? Ground pork or beef mixed with potatoes.
It's ground pork or beef mixed with mashed potatoes, right?
Yeah.
And spices in a pie crust. Oh, a pie crust.
Right. So it's like shepherd's pie in a pie. Is it?
Served with brown gravy. Oh, Violet, are you... no, I shouldn't ask. Well, I think you maybe are with that, with your alt or your avatar. Dark poutine. Canadian.
Is poutine... poutine's chips and gravy, is it?
Yeah, but it's
with
curd.
Cheese on.
No, not just ordinary cheese. It has to be the curd. The curds. There's actually a dark poutine van. It comes to Belfast. It's actually got quite popular here.
When I first heard of poutine, I thought it was like
chip and gravy with cheese, please.
I thought it was like there's a word like that in Irish for booze.
I know what you're poaching.
Is that homemade booze like moonshine?
It is. We call that poaching or still. Poaching or still.
I thought poutine were that, first of all, and then I learned that it was chips and gravy with cheese on.
Yep.
Or they call it dirty fries here now, don't they? If you've got a load of stuff piled on your chips.
Yes, Marks and Spencer's do them.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh,
Violet, your grandparents were from Canada, so that's maybe why poutine. Yeah, poutine.
Ah.
We don't have poutine, but we have poaching. That Valerie would, as Valerie knows, it would blind you. You only take it
out of potatoes.
It is.
Yeah.
Everything we eat is out of potatoes, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to be honest. You don't have a dinner unless you have your potatoes.
Yeah.
There's John. It would warm the gills of an Arctic fish. I wouldn't chance
That
it.
sounds good.
But what they're doing now, they
Yeah.
distill it, but they're
Yeah.
adding in, like, they would add in natural, like, berries and things
so
like that.
to make it trendy, like the gins.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's illegal. No, it is illegal.
And then you can charge a fortune to, like, London people.
Well, I don't know if you would get that up here. People normally go with their glass mineral or lemonade bottles, we call them.
Yeah.
And they get it filled.
All right, yeah.
And away they go. I wouldn't drink it. I wouldn't. I'd be scared I would take some reaction.
I don't want to offend any London people, but London people,
Oh, yeah.
if they think something's a new thing, they'll pay a fortune for it, won't they? I remember, like, because my ex used to be from London, and a nice one, not a nice one, and he took me out to eat in places, and they would try and make something trendy. Then they could, like, potato peelings. They'd cook the potato peelings, and then people would pay a fortune. And pig's ears. I saw pig's ears.
Oh my goodness! Oh my
and
goodness.
I'm thinking they don't want to throw it away. They don't want to throw anything away, so they just make it trendy, don't they?
John thinks he might have a spare barrel of it here. He'll curry it up your way for the bit. No, you're all right, John. I want to keep my eyesight. I want to keep the eyesight. Apparently, it's something. Apparently, you could go blind with it. I don't know whether you can.
I think John should he should bottle it up with some trendy vegetable or fruit. What's the trendiest? We've been through cranberries, we've been through blueberries, we've been through pomegranate. That was recent. Is rhubarb trendy now? Whatever fruit, whatever fruit is trendy. Put it in your poutine, bottle it up.
Poutine.
Yeah, that's it. Put a posh label on and sell it to London people.
Yeah. I tell you, you would make a fortune.
Dorothy,
it's like your moonshine. It's like moonshine. America would call it moonshine.
You've got to call it artisan made. Yeah. Because that'll put another tenner on it.
Yeah.
Artisan made in Ireland. Traditional recipe. This is how you market it. And then they'll pay a fortune.
Valerie, you're right. The moonshine, the Irish and Scotch emigrated to the Appalachian Mountains. I loved watching anything to do with the Appalachian Mountains. Dorothy is in West Virginia, and she doesn't drink the moonshine now, I have to say, but that would be her poaching. Avocados. Oh no, we better not say avocado.
They're trendy now, aren't they?
Well, they were always trendy.
I thought you could put them in alcohol.
No, I don't think so. Gooseberries.
That could be the next big thing. We could make it the next big thing.
But then it's illegal, though.
How do you make it legal? I'm sure that there must. Do you not just call yourself a micro?
Well, it's definitely not. Yeah, but no, it's not out in a big still in the back of your, in the shed in the back of the garden, bottom of the garden.
Just call it a microbrewery
with a pressure cooker,
and that'll make it
that's rusted. Somebody has to hold it with a stick so it doesn't blow open, right? And feed the spuds in. Look, oh no, I know this is bad. I wouldn't make it. I don't know how to make it. I have no clue. I've never seen it made.
Plum. Cucumber.
There's Grim.
Cucumber.
Grim, we played your video tonight.
Version.
And maybe some night, Helen, when we're over in your channel, we can play some more of yours, Grim. Because Helen comes from the original Truthers. Yeah. I'm not saying you're not.
I don't.
You are a truther, but
I don't know how to share the screen yet. I'll need some training behind the scenes.
What we can do some night is I will invite you for a private StreamYard. And
show me how to.
Yeah. Because
I tried it and it froze my laptop up.
Oh, Catnip.
So I don't know what I did wrong.
Catnip, that's a very good question. Is it for home or household use? What's the problem? Catnip, yeah, that's a very good question. Neither. You drink it. It's Ireland's moonshine. That's how your moonshine came about.
Although that is another niche market, you could use it as a window cleaner because the alcohol in it would probably bring them up as a nice shine on them, wouldn't it?
It would bleach the floor and everything. All you have to do is bring your we call it mineral. You know, your glass bottles of lemonade and Coke.
Yeah.
We call them minerals.
Yeah.
The mineral man, he comes once a week. And
we used to just call him the pot man.
We call him the mineral man. And you keep your bottles. And I've never saw this, but I've heard of this, that they're rinsed out and then they're filled with potchie or still.
Yeah.
Still spelled just STILL.
Yeah.
The main man, Valerie. I love the main man. And the Grim Truther, as I said, she has a brilliant channel. And we need to do a deep dive, Helen, some night on that.
A deep dive.
So maybe next week we'll arrange a live on your channel.
Yeah.
And Dorothy can advertise it in her community.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Medicinal properties. Yep, catnip.
Yeah.
It's used to cuts, bruises, everything.
That's what you have to do. You put it in a bottle, and then in tiny print on the bottom of the bottle, you put do not drink. And then, but obviously people drink it. It's like the people that sell cotton buds, and they put on this thing, don't they? Don't clean your ears with a cotton bud.
Just
put that,
you could put on it, John.
What else do you use them for?
Kills all germs.
So that's what you've got to do.
That's Valerie. Yeah, I think you could be in a market. We could do kills all germs. John said you need to wear a scuba diving suit to drink any Irish alcohol. True. Catnip, the medicinal properties. Absolutely. There's 3, so you can drink it. Medicinal, kills all germs. That's it. We're sorted. And Valerie's got the cream soda lemonade bottle from the main man. We are on a winner. I'm telling you. We could be. Sharon, red cherries in it. That has to be on the. Oh, yeah. See, Helen, this is how Apple and Dyson was made by people just thrashing about ideas.
We're just brainstorming business ideas, aren't we?
So, Valerie, if you know a man that could supply the potatoes, the spuds, we're in the roll. I'll get the pressure cooker, and we're on a roll. Look, I tell you. And if anybody's got a cricket machine, I'm sure one of the Ramblers would help us out to print the labels. We'll be sucking diesel.
Oh, do you know, Undercover Mother's just started a business making like vinyl things.
With her cricket machine, I bet you.
I don't know what it's called. It cuts out vinyl shapes and stuff.
Yep, I think it's a cricket.
Is it? I don't know about
I would sometimes go into Mummy Ramblings and I kept hearing about this cricket. The only cricket I ever knew of was one of the crickets, out in the garden.
Oh, that
and it took me a wee while to learn that it was a machine that cuts out.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a machine.
Yeah, it's a machine, and it's any crafter's love. They have to have a cricket machine. Right. So Undercover Mother, I read her post. She's doing DoorDash.
What's DoorDash?
And Grim, it's not the DoorDash that Lana does, right? I'll just say that. DoorDash is, in America, you phone up. It's a bit like our Just Eat.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I think she done like an hour's work and she got $83. Sure, you couldn't be bad to that.
Oh, I saw the thing. I saw the thing like a receipt thing, but I didn't actually know what. I didn't understand what I was looking at. To be fair,
yeah.
It just said she made this money, and tips look good on it.
The tips as well, and I think it's fantastic. And I'm so pleased for her. You
But
know,
I
it's
didn't
brilliant.
really know what it was.
Well, again, I only learned about it because of Mummy Ramblings.
Right.
Now, I love the idea of things, right, Helen? I would love the idea of a cricket machine.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have no use for it. It would just... Oh, there's Janie. She got a cricket for Christmas for my kiddos.
Oh.
Yep.
Now we need
There you-
pictures of things that people have made.
Yeah. And Sharon, during our first lockdown, there was no sale of alcohol. The moonshine was flying. No potatoes on the shelves. No yeast. No ginger beer. Oh my goodness. Well, you see, that we're sorted. Janie's got the cricket. John has the scuba diving suits. Valerie will sort me out with the spuds. You know, we're sorted. We've got it.
Yeah. And we could do a DoorDash with it. A DoorDash.
Yeah. DoorDash, this is it. Oh, look. So definitely we'll have to, look, Helen, we'll be talking anyway.
Yeah.
Hello, Smiley. You're just missing us chatting about pot sheen.
Is that a number one from the question right at the beginning?
Smiley, Smiley, are you listening in replay? She's blocked. She's blocked. On catch up. Join the club. You've only got one. I think there was somebody in here that had 5 ones. So that meant they were blocked 5 times on different notes. Helen, you know something? I want to thank you for being so honest tonight.
Oh,
I really enjoyed it. We have been gabbing for 2 hours, 36 minutes.
Yeah.
And we still have loads to talk about.
Yeah.
So I think, if you're all right, I can pop on to yours.
Yeah, sure.
Next week.
What day shall we say? Shall we say a day now? Then
I think we should and arrange it. I'm good with, it's Tuesday, 9 o'clock, your time, our time.
Tuesday, 9 o'clock, yeah.
Irish time, or 4 p.m. West Virginia time. That's the only time I know in America.
Oh, see, you know all this.
Well, I know because of Dorothy.
Oh, thank you, Surviving the Storm.
Oh, Surviving, you've got a wee bit more growing up to do, love. Yeah. Dorothy's great. Dorothy has a heart of gold.
Yeah.
Sometimes we bump heads and toes and arms and all that, but we always come out okay.
Oh, yeah, Eternal Flame didn't know there were chocolate hobnobs. Did you know that? How can you not know there are chocolate hobnobs?
I don't like hobnobs. They're too oaty for me.
Well, I don't actually buy biscuits. Or I don't. I only buy stuff that's like you can make a meal with. You know what I mean? I don't do the.
Yeah, I get it.
Just to keep my bill down, and I'm not a mad sugar eater. I don't have sugar in my brews or on cereal, or I don't do sugar. So I don't. So I sometimes buy stuff in when the kids are coming.
Yeah.
You know, but that's it really.
This is Helen's channel because there's people that come from Dorothy's or CJ's that aren't aware of your channel, Helen.
Our Americans going to be wondering what a hobnob is now.
Oh. Well, do you know actually my husband's favourite biscuit?
Oatmeal cookie. Would they call it that in America?
Catnip, thank you for all. Everybody has been so brilliant in here tonight. And I've really enjoyed chatting to you all.
And I'm sorry I've like missed a lot of chat. And,
look, I think everybody was so interested just listening to you and your story. And I know that there's a lot that we haven't covered because we haven't even really went into the YouTube all that and this and that.
Yeah.
And it's just lovely being able to have a chat. And,
Oh, thank you,
you know,
John.
everybody has been so great and respectful. And Tick, you tried. You've got to come back at least 4 more times. But or you can keep those alts and go to Dorothy's. She just loves kicking you out. There, you see, surviving the storms. I absolutely think Dorothy's got over 2,500, right?
Wow,
And
she's grown so fast, hasn't she, Dorothy?
yeah, and you pair know each other very well.
Yeah.
And we could have a chat. You could have a chat about absolutely anything.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because I can talk.
You can talk. Yeah. Oh, Eternal Flame, thank you, and Sharon and Janie and Catnip. Everyone, you have been also great. And Smiley, thanks for your one. You can come in and listen. And
a little
Violet.
bit late to the party, but
I am grateful. I'm like you, Helen. You've got quite a big channel compared to me. But I love all my subs. They're so great.
Yeah.
And Valerie.
Yeah.
They really are.
my subs are brill.
They are.
Yeah.
And you're right, Dorothy. Friends do go through rough times, and that's what shows a true friendship. You can get through it.
Yeah.
I loved her. We're going to be fine. And that's true.
Yeah.
We will. I'm the calmer one, and Dorothy is the fiery Italian one.
Yeah.
Just a bit. Just
yeah.
a bit. And, you know, next week, well, no, Tuesday, definitely. We'll do it on yours.
Yeah.
And Dorothy, and you would, it would be a great chat, because again, she has a whole different audience than me. But I have found so many lovely, hello Nightmare, so many lovely new Scottish and Irish people from CJs and Americans.
Oh.
Yeah. Like Valerie lives Northern Ireland. Angela's in Scotland. You know, it's so strange that the internet is a big place, but it's small as well.
Yeah.
Or you can too, Valerie. But we do appreciate everyone. Please hit the like.
I found another Burnley channel.
Oh.
It's not true crime though.
Oh.
But I just found it so funny. They're called Northern Monkeys. And it just reminds me of, I mean, they're grown men, but it's like this group of about four men.
Right.
And they must just knock on each other's doors saying, can so-and-so play out? Because they just go out in a little group and they go like down old mine shafts and looking for fossils, and they get abandoned buildings and they get really excited. I don't notice a Burnley accent when I'm in Burnley because you know, it just surrounds you, doesn't it? But when I'm watching the videos, their Burnley accents are so broad, you know, and it's like, hey, look at this one. You know, they get so excited. It just makes me. They rescued a cow out of a mine shaft on one of their videos.
Wow.
They've done some really weird things, and they do good things as well. Like near where my daughter lives, there's a park, and some teenagers, because teenagers do some really naughty things sometimes, don't they? That are totally pointless, but it's like they can't think of any way better to spend the evening. So they throw, you know, the park benches like those with the cast iron at the sides and the wooden painted green. They'd thrown them all in the boating lake. Right? So, and it was like the middle of winter and pitch black, and they were like wading in the boating lake trying to rescue all these park benches.
But I love
I've got a
like
funny
that.
story about that. I've got one more story. It's really quick. I'll just say it
okay,
really
go
quick.
No.
My daughter was in that park. There's a boating lake and there's a river.
Right.
And she took the little girl out of the pram and said, I don't know what she was doing something. And she said to her son, my grandson, just watch that pram a minute. Anyway, he was watching it, but he watched it roll down into the river and disappear under the river.
Oh my
and
God.
I'm like, oh, did you get it out, Holly? And she's like, no, I just had to leave it. It was under.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm thinking that, like, prams are expensive.
I know.
You know,
but I don't blame her, I have to say.
It got right under. I said at least the daughter weren't in it.
No, you're right. Do you know something? I would have walked away and left it, though. Can you
Would
imagine?
ya?
Oh, I think I would have. Well, it depends how much it
I
was.
actually tried to get it.
I think you would, Helen. I think you would have got in there deep.
I
Or got someone else to go in deep and do it for you. Or phone John, probably phone John and try to get it. Yeah, definitely. But look, I'm going to say goodnight and thank you very, very much. I have an early start in the morning.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you, Helen, and thank you. I had a great chat, and thank you for being so honest. And we will chat again on Tuesday. And Dorothy will be kind enough to put it on her community post. Okay.
Oh, hang on.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Good night. Good night.
Bye.